With me, John, Damian, Greg out today. He has to do the ranking show for ESPN tonight, so he won't be with us. Potentially back tomorrow. Lots to get to. We have more coaching hires that have taken place. We have a coaching leave of absence that just appeared out of nowhere yesterday. And some confusion about something that we discussed yesterday. I think there's a massive misconception on something that we were discussing yesterday. Alex Goldschmidt met the media down in Auburn yesterday. We'll discuss that. We'll let you hear from him some of the things that he wanted to talk about. But I didn't see this until this morning. I was doing some extra prep for the show this morning, and I came across a response to the station yesterday. Many of you may have heard it. Many of you may have seen it on social media yesterday. And to be honest with you, the responses to this clip that Damian put out yesterday, I can't get through them, to be perfectly honest. There's just a lot of people. But Preston Guy, who we have had on the show before, he covers LSU. He's a staff writer covering LSU plus recruiting at tigerbait.com. He is a chef. He's formerly of The Advocate plus LSU student SID at Manship School, journalism alum in 15. That's via his Twitter. Now, listen, I took the clip that Damian put out yesterday basically of me saying, you finished the job. And then I quote tweeted that and said every single thing related to football in my life had one word attached to it, finish. Every rep, every play, every series, every game, every season. Like, that's kind of the genesis of football, really. Because I think if you can get guys to do that, then a lot of other things, maybe not everything else, but a lot of other things will work itself out. Now, number one, here's the first misconception of this that I think people are taking, that I am mad or that I give one single expletive about what Lane Kiffin does with his life. I don't care. It doesn't anger me. It doesn't frustrate me. It does not affect my feelings one single bit. I don't care if he coaches on Mars. I don't care if he coaches in Vietnam. I don't care if he coaches at LSU. I don't care if he coaches at Troy. It does not affect my life at all. I'm going to have to interview him on the sidelines in Baton Rouge, just like I did in Oxford, just like I did in Knoxville, just like I did when he was in Boca Raton. It does not affect my life one single bit. My emotions were not moved by this at all. But I'm going to give you my opinion from where I've been and where I stand, the observations I've had covering college football, the observations I had playing college football. So Preston says, Lane Kiffin did exactly what you asked at Cole Cubelic. Verge Osbury granted that wish too. Verge Osbury has nothing to do with Ole Miss, number one. He has not a single thing to do with Ole Miss football. He even asked Kiffin to stay with Ole Miss through the playoffs. How does that matter to Ole Miss? Kiffin tried every tactic he could to try to continue coaching Ole Miss through the playoffs, short of turning down a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Now, this is hard, John. This
all right.
Just stick with me here.
I'm ready. Okay. I'm in the headspace.
Is it also possible that being a head coach in the college football playoff is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity? Now, listen, that's nuts. Listen, it's going to take a lot of brain power to correspond that. And, seriously, sit down, take a deep breath before you answer it.
I feel like the tenderness of my guy. I just want to get up and walk around and, okay, hold on.
He said, even some tactics I'm not fond of. Ole Miss refused. Ole Miss didn't allow that to happen under any circumstances unless he signed an extension with Ole Miss. Ole Miss did not allow, hold on, LSU, I'll come later. Ole Miss was only going to allow him to coach if the extension was signed, which would take the LSU job off the table. Now, I have seen people say that. I haven't talked to Keith Carter about it, so I don't know 100% if that's the way it went down. I don't know. I've seen people say that. I've seen people say the other side of that, that an extension was not 100% necessary. Now, there's some of what Preston says that I agree with. But I think that there is a main portion of this that we are forgetting in a lot of the responses very similar to that. I'm going to ask you and Damian a really hard question here early in the morning, okay? And I'll ask it to the listeners, too. Maybe the listeners know this better than we do. 800-239-9569. You want to chime in on this situation with Lane leaving Oxford, going to Baton Rouge, of which I do not care. But I'm going to give you my opinion on how it went down. Here's the question of the day. Extension placed in front of him, extension forced. LSU saying we'll allow you to coach at Ole Miss, which I honestly don't see how that has anything to do with anything here. This is hard. Did Lane Kiffin finish the season with the team he started it with? And see, I'm not supposed to ask questions like that because that is a closed-ended question. That is a yes or a no answer. There is no context that needs to be added. See, the problem with this response here that a lot of people gave me yesterday was a lot of ifs, a lot of ands, a lot of buts, a lot of ors. My question that I have for the situation requires only a yes or a no. Head coach started season with team. Did head coach finish season with team? I don't want the excuses. I don't want the runarounds. I don't want the 360s. I don't want the hemming and hawing. Yes or no, did he finish the season with Ole Miss?
No.
Last I checked, I believe that is a no.
Okay. So by me referencing that through my experiences, everything in football, there's one common word that goes along with it, and that is finish. Rep, play, series, game, practice, film session, season, meeting, all of it?
Mm-hmm.
Did he?
That would be a no.
Okay. So you could come up with every excuse in the book. You can come up with every alternative talking point that you want to. My only point yesterday was in football, at least my perception of football, most of the time the job is to be finished. It's one thing with the Joe Moore Award that we put ahead of almost everything else. Your group finishes, you're going to have advantages over a lot of the other groups. Because not a lot of teams are good at that. Not a lot of groups are good at that. Not a lot of individuals are good at that, especially in today's day and age. Does this mean that every single coach finishes every single season? No. Mm-mm. And the other one that I kept getting yesterday was the comparisons to Eric Morris and John Sumrall, which, first off, I don't think it's anywhere near the lock to get in that it is for Ole Miss.
No.
I mean, I think we also understand, did we not have one coach stand in front of the media yesterday and say, I told the kids that I recruited at that school, do not decommit.
Stay.
Stay there.
Stay there.
So I'm not sure where I went wrong because I'll take blame for this. Maybe I delivered the message incorrectly. Maybe it came out emotional at me as if somehow Lane Kiffin had affected my feelings. Good for Lane. And here's another crazy thought. Have there been what has been perceived to be once-in-a-lifetime opportunities placed in front of people that pass them up?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
It can happen?
It can.
Who knew?
I
feel like Walton Goggins right now. Who knew?
Didn't he say, out of his own mouth, didn't he, when he left Tennessee to take the USC job, wasn't that once in a lifetime opportunity?
Well, yeah, he's not going back to USC.
True. I did forget about that.
Someone once saying a moment like this, some people wait a lifetime for a moment like this.
Right.
That is appropriate from you.
Hey.
It's like, oh, okay. LSU's once in a lifetime.
Here's the thing. This is not even 100% directed at Lane Kiffin. It is a situational discussion of you are choosing what everyone perceives to be a better deal. Good. Go get it. Go get your money, man. Get your bag. But what do we say about all these first-round draft picks that sit out of bowl games? You still quit on your team. So I'll be damned if I'm not going to take the same stance at a coach that I take at all these 19, 20-year-olds running around.
Mm-hmm.
You quit on your team. There is not another way to phrase this. There is not another way to say this. There is no, and I mean no, way around it. Because the people who are emotionally taking this side of it, which, once again, understandable, I think we all know why. If you are taking a side of it from the standpoint that you cover or root for or live in, y'all have y'all's discussions. I'm not approaching it from there. But you're acting like this opportunity, quote, had to be taken, and it did not. No one put a firearm to Lane Kiffin's chest and said, get to Baton Rouge, boy. That didn't happen. This was a choice, a decision that was made, and good for him. If that's what he wanted, that's what he did. But as Greg Sankey says, difficult choices come with difficult consequences. Mm-hmm. Difficult decisions come with difficult consequences. He made a decision. There's going to be some reality that's placed back on it of exactly what it was. You walked away from a team in the playoffs. Give me another way to phrase it.
You quit?
Fair.
And that's the whole
That's another
point.
way.
That's the whole point. I was trying to make sense of it all because, again, I was seeing a lot of the things that people were saying. I'm like, okay, are we losing the fact of, are we losing the absolute fact? Ole Miss is going to the college football playoffs. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. They're going to the college football playoffs. And Lane Kiffin still took another job and is like, I got to go. And there's no other way around it. It's black and it's white. It's literally Ole Miss is playing for a national title, and he still took another job. That's exactly what's happening.
I don't know another way to have the discussion. 800-239-9569 if you want to get in. 800-239-WJOX. And if you have another way you would like to state it, we will open the phones and allow you. And I'm not here to put anybody on blast. I'm not here to attack anybody who wants to call in and try to explain it a different way. We're wide open to that.
Yeah.
Once again, this is not something that has affected me emotionally. But
now, had it been Kentucky or, the San Antonio Brahmas, it would have been a different thing.
I'll say this. Pete Carroll and Nick Saban, apparently, according to Lane, we'll let you hear it later in the show, told him to take this job. If I put Nick Saban in Damian's seat right now and said, did Lane finish this season? He would say no.
Exactly.
And he might say but, or yeah, but this, or but when you look, okay, I didn't ask circumstantial evidence to be presented. We are not attempting to acquire a hung jury here. It's not what we're going for. It is literally black and white.
Yep.
It is one or the other. It is heads or tails. Did you finish the season with the team that you started? Like, Steve Spurrier has caught more hell for leaving South Carolina the way he did than Lane Kiffin is. Literally. And I'm not sure that team was going to a bowl game.
And what was that, week 6, week 7?
More people were mad at Steve Spurrier the way he left South Carolina at like 80 than Lane Kiffin is getting for walking away from a playoff team. I said yesterday, I don't care if it's the Dallas Cowboys, man. Like, I don't care if it's the Chiefs and he gets to coach Patrick Mahomes.
Right. You
still walked. If somebody offers me a job at 9:20 today and I get up and walk out of here, like, I quit on the show.
Facts.
There's no other. Yeah, well, there was an offer there and someone said he was not. I still walked.
Right.
Like, I left the other guys hanging for the rest of that show to finish it.
Yeah. Like, I got to find bad box score. You know how deep in the trenches I got to go?
Especially this time of year. We've gotten through the non-con.
Right.
We got ACC, SEC challenge coming up tonight. We're not going to probably get any there.
It's
in
wild,
a conference
man.
play of the women's basketball. It's going to be tough.
It's wild. And that's why I could not process. I was like, okay, yeah, if LSU knew that Lane Kiffin was the guy, and if Lane knew he wanted to be there, he could have said, hey, like you said yesterday, let me get to the playoff run. It could, like you said, it could have been 1 week, could have been the middle of January. If y'all want me this bad, wait.
But what you're going to get there is Ole Miss didn't give him that option. They said sign the extension or you can't coach the playoffs. And we can even play this game if you'd like. Let's say that is how Keith Carter approached it. I haven't talked to Keith. I don't have that factual information. Now, if you're going to take that from one side here, I'll be very careful to believe on either side what you believe to be the exact truth here, because there's so much out there. It's the 30 for 30 on this is going to be fascinating.
That's going to be insane.
So intriguing, so fun, so good to watch.
And Marty Smith has to relive it again.
He may. But if that's the case, I would then counter that with, yeah, but you made your interest in said job during playoff run realistic. Mm-hmm. So you still walked, and you still put that on that tee for the driver to be taken out of the bag and raked 300 yards down the fairway. Like, technically, that could have been avoided.
Yep.
And I'm not saying don't go get yours. This could easily fall into that category of college football today. I understand it, but I don't like it. However, we will not allow it to be discussed another way than you walked away from your team. We have 27 people on hold who apparently can educate us on how this was not quitting or finishing. We'll do that next on Jocks. Okay, we'll go to the phones to educate me, since Twitter has done a good job with that. Quickly yesterday, if you guys didn't catch this, the Ohio Bobcats tweeted out a statement. Ohio University names John Hauser interim head football coach. What they did not do is announce that there had been a change in that position. It was then found out that head coach Brian Smith was put on leave for an undetermined period of time beginning on December the 1st. Interesting to just announce your interim without announcing a dismissal or a suspension or on leave, anything else. So that took place yesterday. Apparently, Lane Kiffin going back and forth about keeping Blake Baker. He reportedly was having discussions with Tulane yesterday about their head coaching vacancy. Will Stein's been announced as a Kentucky head football coach. We'll get into all these. 800-239-9569. We've been discussing the Lane Kiffin situation and the clip that we put out from yesterday's show in which I just said all of football for me my whole life has been to finish. That did not happen in this case. Now there are a lot of add-ons after that from different people. Let's go to Scoobs, who wants to discuss Lane Kiffin. Scoobs, welcome in. You're on the Higginbotham Hotline.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Really quick, it's a yes or no question, Cole, and you were spot on. He's a quitter. He's a damn quitter. He walked out on his team. I'm not going to justify anything. I'm not going to do the ands and the buts. I do have a question, though. If LSU really wanted him, based off timelines dealing with the NCAA and things like that, don't you think that they possibly could have waited on him? Because that's my first question.
Yeah, but the people that cover LSU will tell you that that wasn't feasible and that the AD asked him to please stay and that they would have waited. Once again, I think it's very hard to give definitive answers on what was not available, what was real, what wasn't. Because what you're not taking into consideration is that getting into this situation was part of the problem. You knew you were on the verge of a playoff, yet you engaged in conversations with two other schools about, well, actually, four options presented by Lane Kiffin yesterday, which that's another conversation we need to have today. What was the fourth? Giants?
So you're more or less, yeah, that's a possibility. Underhanded message used, I guess, is a little bit of that too. I have one more thing I want to discuss. I want your take on it. I liked Conrad mentioned it earlier. And this is also tying into Lane Kiffin. I hope you give me 1 second. But I do agree with Conrad on the specifics of Nick Saban and what he gets paid as an advisor. I think it's absolutely asinine that we're paying this guy. Yes, is he the second coming of Christ in football eyes? Sure. But I do think it's absolutely asinine that we're paying him that amount of money. This is not like Chick-fil-A. We're not starting a franchise and paying you for your royalties. And if you're going against the grain dealing with the university, what's your speculation on that? What's your feelings? And, guys, I hope you have a great day. I hate that the season's coming to an end for the regular season, but we got a lot left to see. And I hope you have a good day, man.
We got a lot more to talk about and a lot more football yet to be played. I don't know the level of his involvement exactly, which certain people will tell you that, one, he was offered the job, turned it down, and then was a part of some hybrid search committee. I don't know if you even referenced it as that. We heard Lane Kiffin saying that he advised him to take the job at his press conference. I don't know what to believe there, because I think there are words that can be utilized around that can then be misconstrued by a lot of people. If that was one phone call that said, "You think Lane can win here?" and Nick Saban said, "Yes, I do," and that was it. I mean, I don't know his involvement. Let's go to Doctor on line one. Welcome in, Doctor.
Hey there. How y'all doing this morning?
Doing well, thank you.
Good. All right. I just want to give a different perspective. I practice here in Birmingham, but I also do some toxicology work in Oxford. I'm just going to say what's been put out there on ground zero. Keep an open mind, Cole. All right, so once Ole Miss apparently started thinking that, okay, this guy's serious about this LSU stuff. It had been out there a while. And then once they thought it was serious, they started creating a contingency plan. One of the contingency plans that is going out and being talked about quite a bit in Oxford is they start talking first with the offensive coordinator. They thought that was their first choice, was to keep Charlie Weiss Jr. Once the administration realized Kiffin had already had a talk with them about going to Baton Rouge, they started speaking to other coaches. They did not have Pete Golden as their choice number one. Lane did, in fact, want to have his cake and eat it too. He wanted to finish the season, see where it would go, and then go to LSU. The Ole Miss administration realized once he was talking to coaches, they were not going to let him continue to stay there. So I think there is some misperception about him just deciding to get up and go. They no longer wanted him there because they didn't want their program being gutted, if that makes sense.
Yes. And some of that is unfortunate, but once again, the circumstances that are present were entered into intentionally, which hampered with finishing the job, which would be coaching your team. I understand that there may have been something placed in front of Lane Kiffin where we're not going to allow you to finish this if. But the if was not brought on by accident. Am I correct in that? Like the if was brought on intentionally.
No, that had
like I'm looking at these jobs. I feel like all you got to do is follow Ross Dellinger or 57 other people that cover college football, and you knew that these were taking place, and one of these was probably going to happen. Like, yeah, you got to protect your entities at some point there if you're Keith Carter, which I still think Keith did the right thing. But the point is you got to that spot. Like if a wide receiver on a team fails multiple drug tests and doesn't get to go on a playoff run, like, did he finish the job with his team? The circumstances are a little bit different there, but he didn't finish the season. Mac is in Moundville. Welcome in, Mac.
Good morning, gentlemen. Cole, kind of want to piggyback on what you said. These people come in with all these different perspectives of what the Ole Miss administration was saying, what LSU's administration was saying. At the end of the day, and I fully agree with you, Lane Kiffin, go get your money, all that you want to make. I think the timing was bad. I think that it was intentionally that he went out, started moving this wheel into progress. My thing is, LSU job, if they really want a Kiffin, LSU job would be available in 3 days or the next 3 months. Now, there's red tape that we're going to hear, we couldn't do that, we couldn't do this. Kiffin cowardly quit on his team prior to even making it to the playoffs. We know they're going, but they hadn't even been announced in the playoffs. This guy's he's already bolted. Do you think for 1 minute that I would allow a full-grown fox just to hang out in my chicken coop? No. So I don't blame Ole Miss at all. Get him out of there. He's going to be recruiting those guys to LSU. I think Ole Miss did exactly what they needed to do. Y'all have a good one.
I appreciate the call. Steven is in Birmingham. Would like to chime in. Welcome to the show, Steven.
Hey, how you doing this morning?
Great,
hey,
thank
how you doing this morning?
Good, thanks.
So I want to touch. I saw something. I don't know if it's true or not. That Jimmy Sexton had worked up a deal that LSU would pay Lane Kiffin's postseason incentives from Ole Miss. I don't know if that's true or not. But if that's the case, for him to say that he wanted to stick around and play, I don't know if I necessarily believe that, because the contract, I'm assuming, was drawn up before he made the decision to leave for LSU. I just don't believe that maybe his best interest was to stick around and try to finish the season out. I feel like he was already 1 foot out the door, or he had some kind of backup plan or whatever in place. Just wanted to get your opinion on that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I saw the same thing. I'm trying to see where I saw that from. Wilson Alexander, who has been on our show, who does a great job covering LSU football for The Advocate. He tweeted, "This has been updated to include fascinating part of Lane Kiffin's deal. LSU agreed to play his postseason bonuses even though he won't coach Ole Miss in the college football playoff. So he could still make up to $1 million if the Rebels win a national title without him, which, first off, feels completely unnecessary. Like, we talk about the egregious nature of some deals that just like, there's no part of this that had to be done. And honestly, I didn't view that as much of a, he did this for this reason or that reason, or this meant he was definitively staying or going, as some other folks did. But it is a part of the deal, according to Wilson Alexander. All right, we'll continue this conversation. Many of you still on hold. 800-239-9569. Tweet in at Mac and Cube. Can be a part of the show there. Watch us live on YouTube. Search Jocks945. Back with more next. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. The people are angry. So we'll keep discussing it. 800-239-9569 if you want to get in on the Higginbotham hotline. Tweet in at Mac and Cube. Yimmy Jefferson at Chip810-270-19503. Tweets in another thing to consider. Lane's value will never be this high again. He's way overvalued. It's a hilariously risky hire. His immaturity mixed with that culture will be fun to observe. Is he overvalued? And will it, hypothetically, Ole Miss runs the table the next 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
What would that be, 32-0, I think? 38-0.
Depending on whether or
Somewhere in
not,
there.
most likely, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, probably wouldn't get to 38, but
Yeah.
would his value be higher then? Just saying. To do that at LSU, I would then think, here comes Jerry Jones. Lou in Tuscaloosa. Welcome into the show, Lou.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Great, thank you.
Was it Bo Schembechler who said no man is bigger than the team?
I think a lot of coaches have said that, but he may have been one that got the majority of the credit for it, yes?
Okay, well, what about no coach is bigger than the team? And the thing about Lane Kiffin is his greatest win of his career as being state champion is beating Mississippi State. And the thing about it is that, you know, either you're a winner or you're a quitter in football and in life, and he kind of turned his back. What he done, he sold his players out. And I played a little football myself here in Tuscaloosa, and, you know, my coach was all about being on time, being on the field, doing what the team did, and he did his job and we did ours. And at the end of the day, there was a little honor among coaches then, but there's no honor among coaches anymore in college football. And one thing I wanted to say about the guy who called yesterday and said Alabama doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs. Well, Alabama's got probably one of the biggest wins of the year when they beat Georgia. And I don't know how it's going to turn out Saturday night. I'm an Alabama fan, and I said the same thing last weekend. And Auburn played a hell of a game, a really good game against us. It was a good game. But with a little luck, we could win Saturday night. But then again, the playoffs is topsy-turvy. The coaching deal is topsy-turvy. There's no honor in football anymore, and the game is kind of it's really in bad shape right now. And nobody needs to judge you for doing your job and saying what you believe, because you should be able to do that if you're in front of that microphone, because that's your job. And all I could say is good luck to everybody, and roll tide. Thank y'all very much. Have a good day.
You too, Lou. Thanks for the call. Appreciate that. I do want to clarify here. This is not me going at Lane Kiffin. I'm not attempting to pile on Lane Kiffin here. But it was surprising to me how many people came to the defense of me saying that you did not finish the job. That's it. I don't care about the circumstances. I don't care about the contracts. I don't care about who is the caregiver of the dog. I do not care. Did you finish the season? There is no contractual debate to be had there. There is no travel woes to be discussed there. There is no high school in which children will attend to be discussed there. It's did you finish the year? You started the year as the head coach. Pete Golding will be leading that team into the playoffs. Now, I am to infer from that he is taking over and finishing the job? Am I missing something there?
No, he wouldn't even give any interim tag. He's like, nah, you next Savage up.
Now, I will say, LSU easily top 10 job in college football.
Correct, yeah.
I did see some folks yesterday, John, saying easily top 5 job in college football. Be careful there. Be careful.
Maybe in theory, but
oh no, I mean, I think it's in the discussion.
Yeah.
But Ohio State, Notre Dame, Alabama, easily.
Yeah, Texas probably.
Texas.
Yeah, USC.
Now
probably.
you got hold on. Now you got a debate on your hands.
Yeah.
With the rest of them,
Mm-hmm.
Michigan, USC, some might say Florida. So, if you're talking about today's college football, Oregon,
Texas, one of them Texas schools.
It's different now than it has been. Now, historically, LSU would be ahead of a few of those. I think LSU's an incredible job. But definitively top 5, that's a discussion probably for the offseason that we can have. Let's go to Steve, listening in Montgomery. Thank you for listening, Steve. Welcome into the show.
Thank you, Cole. Just wanted to say that based on Lane's history, especially at Ole Miss, he will probably have another chance to go to the playoffs and play for a national championship. But those players, those cheerleaders, everybody associated with that athletic program, this may be their one and only opportunity. And I just think it's quite selfish of him. And, you know, the old saying about, you know, quitters never win and winners never quit. And he definitely quit on that team. And I just think the way to fix this, Cole, is to move the signing date to January, back where it used to be, and come in and tell those coaches you cannot take another, just like the NFL, you cannot take another job until the end of the season. And to me, that would fix it.
Well, I appreciate it. I also agree that would fix it, but there's no governing body to put that in place. That's the difficulties, and sometimes the beauty of college football is how different so many different parts of it are. There's no one ruling voice that can step in and say, this is going to happen. I mean, hell, we can barely make that happen for common sense rules across the entire sport.
It's almost like baseball and how the ballparks are all different sizes. Like everyone's gonna, like, we got rules in different leagues, and
you're going to put a giant wall in left field? Hold on, it's going to be 305 to right field?
Oh, okay.
Wait a second, Houston. You're going to have a hill with flagpoles in the middle of center field?
Our pitcher does too much work. You know what? We're going to have someone bat for him.
Back that up.
Good.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, more on this entire situation next right here on Jocks. Going to take a break quickly from our coaching move discussion and move over to Mike Lutzenkirchen of the Lutzy 43 Foundation. Today is Giving Tuesday, Mike. Let's start with this. Those that don't know about Giving Tuesday coming off of Cyber Monday, explain it for the listeners if they're not aware.
Yeah, guys, good morning. Thanks for having me on. It's about a 10 to 12-year program that's gone international. So the first Tuesday after Thanksgiving each year, nonprofits, 501c3s like ours are really encouraged to reach out to our database of supporters and followers and go through social media and that. Just promote if you're in a position to consider a cause at year end to make a donation to that could help you from a tax basis, or just it's on your heart to make a contribution, please do so. And that's what Giving Tuesday is all about.
So Mike Lutzenkirchen of the Lutzy 43 Foundation joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Let's do this also, Mike, because we're on a couple of different stations now since the last time you joined us. A much different audience. For those that are not aware of the Lutzy 43 Foundation, let's kind of hit the reset button here and give the folks a little bit of a definition of exactly what you guys are, what you guys do.
Yeah, the quick backstory is, Cole, as most of your Birmingham audience knows, is that our son Philip played at Auburn University from 2009 to 12. Key contributor to that 2010 national championship team. As a sophomore, became a two-time captain, had a short run in the NFL, and unfortunately, due to poor decisions with some friends, the weekend of June 27, 2014, Philip lost his life in a single vehicle crash as a passenger, along with the driver. So he wore 43. He had a very popular fan base. Our faith drove us to do this, but we started the Lutzy 43 Foundation to do all we can to eliminate the number of crashes, injuries, and fatalities that are taking place on our roadways. So that's our main focus.
Mike Lutzenkirchen with us of the Lutzy 43 Foundation. And that being said, what you guys do with this foundation is remarkable. And it's moved not only from younger kids who are maybe about to drive, teenagers who are driving, college kids who obviously may have some flaws with how they drive. You guys are going completely corporate now, Mike. Like you're into later life adults, people in corporate America. So you guys have done an excellent job of sort of expanding to assist everyone with probably mistakes that we all make each and every day.
You know, Cole, that's well said on your part. We're all human. We're tempted to pick up that phone, to read a text, read an email. Our younger drivers, those teenage and college kids, think they can TikTok or Facebook Live while they're driving. And here's what really motivates us. What I'm excited about on one hand, you know, I just got a call yesterday from our supporters here. We're based in Atlanta. During the Thanksgiving holiday period, which is recorded across the state, begins Wednesday night at 6 p.m., the day before Thanksgiving, concludes at midnight on Sunday, where they track. It's one of the deadliest holidays on U.S. roadways. And in Georgia, I'm proud to say, we had a reduction of 17 lives lost last year down to 11 this year. Saving 6 lives is exciting, but we still had 11 lives, and these weren't due to accidents. They were crashes where people make poor decisions. I'm going to be in your great city of Birmingham on Thursday, meet with some corporate giants over there about what we're doing. Going to meet with UAB Trauma, who's doing things with us, Children's of Alabama. And I don't have Alabama stats right now, but I'll tell you this. Leading into the holiday, what's sad is Alabama's tied with Wyoming for the most fatalities on their roadways per capita. So as long as people are getting in vehicles and people have a choice to make poor decisions, using Philip's life and platform and the mistakes he made that weekend, where we've never shied away from sharing those mistakes of being drunk, super speeding, not wearing seatbelts, driving well after midnight, we've got a purpose and a cause, and we're just excited about the impact that we think we're contributing here in the Southeast.
You guys do an excellent job, Mike, and I appreciate you hopping on not only to discuss the Lutzy 43 Foundation, but also Giving Tuesday, something we should all take into consideration. How can folks find the Lutzy 43 Foundation? How can they donate today?
Yeah, we're at Lutzy43.org. That's LUTZIE 43.org. There's a donate button set right up front through this campaign. Our goal, we don't really kick this off Giving Tuesday, Cole, because I'm not smart enough to do that, but we always know November 19th is the start of the first of the last 43 days of the year. Again, everything tied around Philip's number 43. We've got a goal today to raise $13,000 against the total period goal of $100,000. We're well on our way to that. But again, if you've got somebody that you've lost on a roadway, you yourself have made some poor decisions, and you looked up and realized I just drove a good distance and I wasn't looking at the road, I don't wear a seatbelt, which is one lesson your audience learns from this quick conversation is 61% of the people dying on U.S. roadways weren't wearing a seatbelt. It's a 3-second habit in our life. Please wear your seatbelt, and just that's going to save a lot of lives on U.S. roadways.
Mike, thanks so much for hopping on today. Best of luck. Lutzy 43 Foundation is fantastic. They do great things. Go to lutzy43.org. Hope everybody donates today, Mike. Thanks for hopping on. Wish you the best. Let's catch up soon.
Yeah, Cole and Greg, thanks for always supporting us, and be safe out there.
There you go. Mike Lutzenkirchen of the Lutzy 43 Foundation, lutzy43.org. You can go donate there today. Today is Giving Tuesday. Okay, Brett wants to chime in. Back to our coaching change situation, 800-239-9569. If you want to get in, tweet in at Mac and Cube. Listen online, jocksfm.com. Brett, welcome in.
Yes, thank you. I just had a question. Is the Lane Kiffin transition, is it from the provocation of the players being enticed with more money? Is this just going to be a domino effect with other coaches? Is this the beginning of a scenario that we're going to see, considering Nick Saban retired over the circumstance of not being able to regulate some of the advances that the players have, even from high school up to college to go into, the NFL? I mean, is this just the beginning of a rabbit hole that we just haven't seen? And I realize that Lane Kiffin did a cowardly move. That shows the integrity of a person, when they're doing the things that he did. But on the business end of it, I mean, did he have a choice? I mean, is this the way it's going, or I don't know. I mean, you seem like you know more about it.
Well, no, I think the timing of it's unfortunate. And if this is what he always wanted to do, and this is the place he always wanted to be, or a choice he thought he, quote, had to make, then sure, he made it. But that does not change the fact that he didn't finish the season with this team. Therefore, he quit on his team. Now, there are a lot of circumstantial pieces of evidence around that, of what was said, what was offered, what was forced, what wasn't, who said this, who said that. The reality is you got yourself in that situation for those decisions to have to be made. Was there another way around that? I don't know. I'm not sitting in the meetings with him and his agent. But I imagine that during winter workouts in January, February, March of last year, summer workouts, spring football practice, of which we still have, training through the summer, these walkthrough practices that they can have on their own in the summer. I imagine the word finish was used by him once or twice throughout all of that to prepare for this season. Was that ever uttered? Hey, finish the rep. Wide receiver, you got to finish the route. Quarterback, finish getting through your progressions. We're in conditioning now. You have to finish. Okay, we're up 4 with 3 minutes and 58 seconds left in the game. Finish the game. I imagine that was uttered at some point. Because every coach wants to instill that mindset into their team. Did that happen? All I simply said yesterday was that did not take place. And that, to me, in my football experience in my life, has been a part of its core. That has been a part of the foundation of offense, defense. I can't really speak to special teams. I mean, we had somebody tweeting it about the Giants kicker not finishing the kick last night. So maybe he can go to Baton Rouge too. I don't know. Chris is in Birmingham. Would like to chime in. Welcome in, Chris.
Jesus Christ, Cole, you're talking like you was a former Bama player like McElroy himself. Jeez, I'm about to give you the crown and the cake talking like that. Because you're trying to talk to y'all. Listen, when it comes to the Lane Kiffin scenario, I look at it as Ole Miss and Lane is at fault because the only people that take it on the chin would be the players themselves. And to use the players as collateral getting damages on to discuss the work, but that's just business at the end of the day. Who's really at fault is not Lane or Ole Miss. It's LSU. It's because they're too wussy to play the hands they themselves dealt. So they want to hit the buyout button as if their name's they're no better than Ohio State. That's who's really at fault here because if you're a man of any kind, of any caliber, you stand by your own decisions and your own scenarios you put yourself in. And I want to talk about last night's NFL game.
Okay, let's go to Anthony on the Higginbotham hotline. Welcome in, Anthony.
Hey, y'all know in 1981 when Coach Bryant retired, the job was offered to Gene Stallings. They was in the playoffs. He could not take it. And he told them, y'all need to hire a coach and go ahead on. He showed integrity. He could have left, but he didn't. And that's about the end of the story. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't believe there was a playoff in 91, but postseason, I understand. Scott would like to chime in. Welcome in, Scott. You got about a minute.
Hey, guys. Man, this is just the result. This is like the curtains being pulled back. Man, it's about money. It's about money. Hey, I'm a Memphis fan. Man, John Calipari left to Kentucky, and he took all the players with him. Silverfield went to Arkansas. Man, he was interviewing before we played UAB. That's why we lost to UAB. This is about money, and it's just weird because it's an SEC school. Ole Miss is not that good in the SEC. It's about money. It's about money.
Could say not that good, but I think their record proves otherwise.